success here. Rifsy taking out Mr. McDouble on this back end, but it looks like they might be able to start capturing this point on their end.
Capturing the point indeed, but the kills will be traded out. Rifsy on the ball, switching from the Mercy, gonna try to create a lot of space here. Spaghetti 52 on the Mercy himself. SpongeBob though on the big flank, trying to get some kills. Gonna find Nova. Monk swinging on the Brigitte on point with an EMP quickly charged up and a molten core. Gonna try to capture the point. SpongeBob on the flank with the visor. The Fran has been channeled in many ways with the Torb and the Soldier, and the kills will be finally found to control the point here for the Green Knights. They took about 23% points though, so a great start here for the attacking of the Panthers.
Yeah, and I think some great synergy using this Torbjorn to great effect, because they were able to have Rifsy kind of spinning around that point, zoning them off, and then putting a Molten Core just at the edge of Rifsy's knockback range, so forcing a lot of Kaynor attack players into that Molten Core. Andrew now, Eclipse popping that Graviton, able to finally get them to pick off Spaghetti 52, means that they don't really have much of a support line. Monk also falling as well, means that Notre Dame is out of supports for this fight.
Exactly, and one of the things that we're gonna see here that's a big difference is just the total control of point. There's no way that with the composition here of the Green Knights that they can just really reliably control point unless they get a lot of kills. Their win condition is based on farming the CMP, farming this Molten Core, farming this Visor, and just using them all at once to try to overwhelm. And as we see a big pick there from Spaghetti, the Green Knights are going to be forced to put their push on hold, just looking to set up these flanks and create a little bit of pressure on the back line in the form of a flank from a SpongeBob.
Yeah, but with Spaghetti finally respawning, Notre Dame is going to be going into this point with so many ultimates, popping them all right now to start this fight.
And Nova didn't not quite get the beat follow up there, so he just got completely denied by the EMP, and a brilliant placage of the hamster mines from Rifty going to completely chunk down Eclipse there and allow the team to be very successful. And that was one of the cleaner fights that they used. They only used the EMP visor and the hamster ult, which is, it is a lot of ultimates, but on this comp that generates them so fast, winning with a lot less ultimates is just very strong.
Yeah, and such a crazy back and forth on this point flip. Both teams basically getting about 35% and then flipping it to the other team. Means that these guys are ready to play on this map, and they're just so coordinated together. And now Jeff Woods looks like to swapping to this Tracer in order to kind of deal with the amount of spread that Notre Dame is forcing them. Trying to pull apart this team fight more means that Jeff Woods is going to have a lot of fun on this Tracer.
Exactly, and Cliff's going to find that first kill on Risky, using the Sombra hack to deny Ramster. The EMP quickly coming in from GCCD there, not going to find any kills, but is going to find a lot of damage. Monk going to try to stabilize here with the rally. Not going to let any kills fall out, but the fight here is getting to be that do or die position. As Lib Memory's chart picks up that first kill on Arkham Knight, it's not looking good here as 10 seconds remain, and all the kills go in favor of the Green Knights.
Yeah, and honestly, having these players get pulled so far apart, with Sombra, with Torbjorn Turret living for almost most of those matches, even getting a few games, a few picks off on these last couple fights. Honestly, using some, you have some great plays, from this team.
Exactly, and these comps that you see, these East Coast special comps, they're basically a commitment and a statement saying that we're a more mechanical team and we want to outfrag. And so, definitely the Torb pick is a little atypical, but it was used as some pretty good success, obviously, as they took the first point. And one of the things that you have to remember is that SpongeBob was relatively uncontested and just created so much space in the form of flanking with that damage of Soldier.
Yeah. And I think SpongeBob is definitely one of the sleeper DPSs on this team. He was able to get so much more space just because they're allowing them to. They're trying to focus on GGCD, they're trying to focus on Mercy, and being able to do that, gives SpongeBob so much open space. Lib Memory getting a very early pick onto Jeff Woods and now also onto Nova, means that Notre Dame has the player advantage here. Lib Memory getting another pick onto Arkham Knight there. And it looks like they're going to be able to capture the point because of it.
Exactly, and this map is one of the maps that plays to the strength of Widow, just because the high ground is so far out of reach that only really Widow can deal with the sightlines. You have to see a kind of form of commitment of the entire team, just really going for them, and we're going to see the early kicks there land to an early walls have activated it, which will buy the Panthers here just so much time. Sorry, the Green Knights. There's so much time here, and as the percentage ticks up, you have to remember that it adds more and more pressure to the Panthers on the retake.
Yeah, and definitely with Live Memory here on this Widowmaker, getting these picks and getting so much damage. A 5-man EMP coming out of the side of the Panthers means that they're finally able to kind of make a big contest. Although Live Memory gets these 2 picks, Panthers able to kind of secure this point. But a big thing here is I want to see Nova dive this Widowmaker more. Widowmaker has been getting so much free damage on the top of this point. And he's still sitting there, just very comfortably sitting here on this top ledge, getting all the damage that they need. But now, since that they're fighting on this back end, Live Memory not able to get as many shots as he's like to.
The EMP and the Reaper ultimate will get pops and not find any kills, so the value isn't fine. Nova going to show up big with the 2K. The rally from Mr. McDouble is going to be popped, and the point percentage will start to take up in the favor as the attack here from the Green Knights just didn't find anything relatively at all. So we are going to see some swaps come out. GCCD is going to go onto the McCree and look to play more to enable the sightlines. They're going to have 2 very strong light lines in the form of Widow and McCree, so a lot of pressure created on both angles. And then SpongeBob, of course, has been locking it down, just trying to burst those tanks and trying to enable his Regita to frag. And that's been relatively successful as we see that first pick on this McDouble from GCCD while finds another one on Nova.
Yeah, and with the combination of those 2 sightlines, like you said, it really forces the Tech Panthers to play very awkward angles. McCree able to kind of just jump in and roll around and force players into the Widowmaker sightline, and Widowmaker forcing players into the McCree sightline means that Notre Dame able to capture this point back finally and taking another advantage here.
Exactly, and this advantage is going to be shown in the form of just an incredible way to control a point. When you think about how to retake a comp against a Widow McCree Reaper, you're not stuck with a lot of options other than spamming support ults. And support ults are not what we see in the form of the Panthers. We do have the beat, but the EMP is also going to be popped. The beat will be, I guess, all they need to stabilize as Andrew picks up 2 with the Diva Bomb as well. And as the point ticks up to 80%, this fight could be the fight that determines it. That overextension, even with the kills from the memory, is going to tick up to this 99%. And there is a little bit of room here to retake, but it looks like this fight will be the determiner on what is going to happen for this final point of Busan.
Yeah, and the amazing picks from Libre able to extend this fight out means that GGCD and the rest of his team are going to be able to get to the point just in time. Now both tanks kind of falling on the side of the Tech Panthers. Mercy finally popping that ultimate, and Live Memory still getting free range to shoot those shots, taking out the Arkham Knight. Jeff Woods falling, and it looks like the point is going to be held here by the Notre Dame Green Knights, and they are able to take map 2.
Exactly, map 2 will be dropped, and the 2-0 map lead is all we need to see potentially another 3-0 sweep. We're going to see the play of the game go to GGCD here on the McCree. Like you said, a main support typically in the semi-pro scene, but flexing onto the DPS to put in a big way and showing off some excellent mechanics there. Barely missing any shots except for on that tricky Lucio from Jeff Wood.
Yeah, and now because Notre Dame is up 2 maps, it is in the hands of the Tech Panthers to take these next couple maps. We are now going to map 3, which is going to be Temple of Anubis. Definitely Temple of Anubis is one of those maps can be very stally, especially on that last point.
Exactly. Temple is one of those maps with 2 CP that is really kind of the best of both worlds for a team that has advantage. I think Grey Knights have showed us one thing and one thing alone, and that's They're not scared of nobody or nothing, and they'll pick whatever they want, and they'll pick, and that's a big thing when you're heading into a map like Anubis, just because of the fact that confidence and snowballing on TCB is very, very important. And heading into this map, they are going to be sitting on defense, and if we don't see the Panthers establish any form of confidence here, we might potentially see a first point hold due to the multifaceted DPS setup that I'm predicting from the Green Knight.
Yeah, and that multi-DPS has been such a bane on Tech Panthers, you know. I feel like they came in, you know, I've been talking to a lot of the teams, they said that they've been, you know, Tech has been scrimming every day, prepping for this, but it looks like they weren't ready for this multi-DPS composition from Notre Dame, honestly.
Yeah, definitely one of those things that you can practice, you can predict, but in execution, everything can go different. And a plan is great, but the true skill of Overwatch has always been learning and adapting. So, preparing against a triple DPS setup is just also very difficult because you don't really know what the enemy team's going to play, just because of the nature of they seem to play what they want, and that can work out if the element of chaos is, and that element of trying to overwhelm your opponent with raw mechanical skill is enough. The interesting thing, however, is that we are going to see a bunker come out from the defense of the Green Knights, and this is something that isn't DPS focused, but it does have a lot of damage due to Bastion.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it's interesting that even with this bunker composition, they're choosing to have the Symmetra here. We usually just see Symmetra just to get this Bastion up onto this high ground, and then usually they swap off, but SpongeBob opting to continue playing this Symmetra, which is really big, honestly.
Yeah, the ping pong composition is another East Coast friend, so we'll see what this means. SpongeBob not quite doing what is typically standard of the ping pong strat, but what they're going to do is they're going to use this teleporter to bounce back and forth from the high ground. Since the Green Knights are set up on this crossfire, the Panthers have elected to try to go to point, which is not the right play, to say the least. And you have to remember that they don't have a D.Va. And D.Va is very, very, very necessary to counter bunker, just because of the potential to, 1, use D.Va bomb to zone them, 2, to deny the BAP ult, and then 3, D.Va Matrix is too darn good. The win condition here on attack is just honestly getting a really long hook, and that even then it's going to be very difficult here on attack for them to be successful without a D.Va.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that we don't see Eclipse swapping off to this Zarya to have Andrew pick up this D.Va, because that's just what he plays most of the time. It looks like GGCD is going to have an incredible time tearing through them. Getting the hook onto Spaghetti to start this fight means that they're denying the wall on this high ground.
They are denying the wall on the high ground, but the picks from SpongeBob are just going to be too much here. The Symmetra playing to a big effect, charging off of the shields, just ramping up the damage and doing a lot with the orbs. You have to remember that a fully charged Symmetra is just as scary as a fully charged Zarya in some situations. And now the Symmetra is able to just teleport the team right back to high ground, which is honestly the scariest part of this bunker composition.
Yeah, SpongeBob doing a great job of playing that Symmetra beam out, and he putting so much pressure on that. Honestly, I didn't even expect to come out of this Symmetra. But they're ready for another push on the Tech side. They're not even swapping to the D.Va like you said, but they have so many ultimates almost up that I believe that they're just going to play to that strength.
And this BAP square popped a little preemptively, but the right idea is just using that damage just to overwhelm and overcome. And the big thing here for this attack is that now they have a very small window, and if they don't get over the small window, they're not going to be successful. The bongo and the wall is going to be popped, and as well as the Transcendence. So the Transcendence, not quite the right timing, but will try to be put to some good use, and the Green Knights are looking to really succeed here with the ping pong. So what they did here is they forced the enemy team into one side and they teleported to the other, and just enabled such a good sightline that there's not much you can do on the form of the Panthers.
Yeah, and an unfortunate use of the Earth Shatter towards the end when Nova was the only player alive. And like you said, that ping pong used to such good effect. You know, when Kaynor streams into this building, they go into the other side and shoot into the building, which is perfect for them. And it looks like they're going to try to make one last hurrah with this Graviton play, because they definitely have to approach very slowly against this Bastion. Otherwise, it's not going to be too fun for them.
Definitely, and again, this is do or die. It's 2-0. They have to make a move here. 30 seconds left, and their future on the line. We need to see some success from the Panthers.
Yeah, I definitely would agree, and it looks like they're gonna go into that building again. SpongeBob, I believe, gonna start getting ready to set up his teleporter to push some plays, but it looks like he's not going to. They're just gonna continue playing this high ground. Graviton Surge finally comes out to force them into that point, but a great lamp from this Batiste to keep them all alive.
Exactly, and as we see the chaos of the Bastion just on every angle in the wall, it's just creating so much space. And as we take into this overtime, Nova is going to try to get a kill in the memory, but GCCD on the high ground with the Bastion is just too strong, leading the defense to hold here on this first point. Interestingly enough, though, the attacking team did get a little bit over a tick, so that does mean that this is not a tieable game. It is win or lose for the teams here today, which is very important.
Oh yeah, and now Notre Dame putting the ball in Canertech's court, holding them to literally tick 1 on this first point means that that Notre Dame really only needs to take a little over a tick, to secure this semifinal and get the final spot at UConn on May 18th, which is very, very big.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that this little over a tick means is that in addition to win or lose, it means that a single misstep in the form of not contesting the point can lead to the 3-0. So there's a lot of pressure here to succeed, and one of the biggest things that I think you have to focus on here if you're on this defense is how do you want to, one, hold the first point, because you have to remember your composition should only be used for first point here. There's no need to do anything else but hold first point. And then 2, what can you do? What can you predict? Because if you're thinking about from the Panthers' perspective, the Knights have been rather unpredictable. They've ran various different comps. They've ran various different setups, and ultimately, it looks like they're gonna do a modified bunker of themselves, sans the Symmetra, and that honestly might be the tools that they need, but it also could be to their demise. Because the Symmetra from SpongeBob was just so popular, so powerful.
Yeah, and this lineup from the Notre Dame Green Knight side, it honestly looks like it was meant to take out Bunker, right? You have SpongeBob there on the Widow just to get those picks as much as possible onto the Bastion. Then we have GGCD in the back line. If he can go back in there, get a hack onto Nova, and tear down this Orisa wall, means that they're going to have a much easier time, in my opinion, taking out this Bastion than Canertech did against the Notre Dame Green Knights.
Exactly, and so we're seeing kind of this multi-flank with a lot of DPS again coming out. Clip's gonna get the first kill on Rifsy, but SpongeBob is gonna answer with a kill on Nova, and without an Orisa, there's not a lot of room to hide for Eclipse on the Bastion. Spaghetti gonna need a very important res here, but GCCD is gonna fall down instead. So this defense is looking good for now, but without that Orisa getting set up on the high ground, it's gonna be very difficult for them to not be pressured into a very small corner here.
Yeah, and now because of that, looks like they're going to be able to get on this top high ground on this right side for the Notre Dame's team, and forcing the rest of the team kind of into this back left choke. They're trying to chase out SpongeBob right now, but he's able to give so much space to the rest of his team to set up onto this point, and they're still having a hard time even just finding him, and it looks like Notre Dame's already contesting this point.
Exactly, and GCCD gonna get hooked there. Did not lose the EMP, but will get picked, and SpongeBob dropping as well. So the offense is gonna be biding their time, basically looking to force 5 to 6 ultimates at a time from once. Not gonna happen anytime soon though, however, as the hooks for Mr. McDouble are just pounding out the flankers here. And as this attack approaches, we have to remember that the defense has burned off 2 minutes, and this has been very, very good. And the ultimates are on both sides are very flush, so this could be all we need to see for the defense. If they can manage to outplay the ultimates, we might see what they need. But every single Q button being pressed, led by the EMP, followed by a Blade, Bastion and Diva gonna follow up, but Eclipse showing a big bit of 3k to hold on here, shutting down those pesky flankers.
Yeah, that Bastion ult definitely able to tear the team apart as long as they can get those big lands onto them. And looks like GGCD just able to translocate out. But now only a little over a minute means about a push, maybe 2 pushes for the Notre Dame side. A great pick by Mr. McDouble to get GGCD and deny that EMP for a while here. It means that they're going to basically sit here and wait for GGCD to respawn and run out. And Kaynor definitely ready to hold here. They have held for so long. I think both of these teams are very comfortable on this Bastion. And again, only need to hold on for 1 tick, but GGCD ready to drop this EMP very soon.
We are going to see the initiation of the Hanzo ultimate. Going to get that first kill on Eclipse, the follow-up on the EMP. Going to get Jeff Woods as well. Spaghetti 52 going to pop the Valk. Trying to get these reses. Going to get SpongeBob right back into the fight, and the advantage for the attackers is overwhelming, and they're looking to take not only this map, not only point A of Temple Anubis, but also the series with a quick 3-0. And it looks like we are going to see that, with the Green Knights taking that 3-0 here on Anubis in our EGF quarterfinal.
Yeah, and it looks like Lib Memory able to seal that off with that Dragon Strike to take the game. SpongeBob now getting the play of the game, having some great plays just to not only move his team around, but deal incredible amounts of damage with that left-click laser. Notre Dame Green Knights, welcome to finals.
Exactly, and you know, we are going to see some interesting cards and some interesting plays, and really a wonderful finish here for the meantime. And you know, you have to think about, you talk about preparation, and you talk about what do the KT Panthers do differently, and honestly, they just kind of got hit by the East Coast Special, which is just a lot of chaos, a lot of power, and a lot of potential. And that's just really hard to prepare and deal with. So GG's to them today, but ultimately the Green Knights will emerge victorious.
Yeah, and thank you again for everyone for tuning in here to the EGFH playoffs for the East region. Sorry, 1 second here.
You can follow us on the official EGF on Twitter and Twitch, as well as for updates and announcements. I'd like to once again thank our sponsors, the UConn School of Engineering, the UConn Gaming Club, Mob Crush, and Playmakers Wanted for helping us make this season possible. This has been Dell, and you can find me at Dell Overwatch.
And I am David Hans Chen. You can find me at Hans on most social medias. Thank you guys all for joining us today, and we'll see you guys later tonight for the Alaska playoffs.